Hey there, welcome on how to do green screen. And we're actually going to start off with the web page that I'm going to be working from, which is right here. And you can get to it through my website, which is vchscomtech.ca, or I have actually a quick bit.ly bit.ly/bchs green screen tutorial. That way you can get to the green screen right up. So the first thing that we're going to do is, well, you need footage. So you can either shoot your own, or if you're one of my students, you can go here to this tutorial footage and get this. And there's lots of green screen stuff you can download from YouTube and the web. If you go to this folder, you need to be one of my students. You have to have a Pembina Hills account in order to access this. Okay, so we have some green screen footage here. I've got some student work, and what we have is we've got students standing up in front of this green screen. And the first thing that you want to do is you've got to crop out all the stuff that's not green. So go to the effects section and type crop, and double click on crop, and it goes into here. Now notice that I had this selected. If not, then you're going to need to click on it and go to effects. You can also just drag and drop it on there as well. Anyway, so we've got crop. Now watch this. I grab the pen tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw a line around the section right here. See here how I've got this now. I am going to outline. I'm not sure how far out he wants to go or where his arms will go, so I'm keeping all the way, and I join it here. That was the pen tool. If you're lucky enough to have something that is just a rectangle, well, that's awesome. You can do that. Okay. You can also actually just crop by going left and right. So that works well. Again, if it happens to be super easy for you. Now, if you use the pen method, then you are going to actually notice something. You're going to notice that it hasn't actually cropped anything. The reason why is because you actually have to create a crop, and then whatever is in the mask is separated from it. So watch. I'm going to grab the left. I'm going to pull this all the way over. See that? See, now it's coming in. But, of course, it's doing the opposite of what we want, because we want this part to be kept on the inside. So invert this. Boom. And then drag this all the way across to 100%. Awesome. Okay, now we have only the green screen part selected, and we're going to now apply some more effects. Now notice I closed that just to give us a little bit of extra space up here. Next, I'm going to apply auto contrast. That is this part right here. Auto contrast, type that into effects, this search, and I just type in auto. You'll see auto contrast is here. If I double click on it, automatically adds. All auto contrast does is make the greens more green and the non-greens less green, quite honestly, so that way it allows Ultra Key to work. Speaking of Ultra Key, that's our next step, and we are going to apply that. Ultra Key. Double click on it. Awesome. Okay, now Ultra Key has a whole bunch of stuff down here. Matte generation, matte cleanup, spill suppression, color correction, all this sort of thing. But we are actually going to start off by just simply clicking on this eyedropper. You click on the eyedropper and you go over here. Now, in the newer version of Premiere Pro, it doesn't turn into an eyedropper anymore. It used to be an eyedropper that went across with you. Maybe yours does, mine doesn't anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the green part. I'm going to pick this green right here and click. Boom. See how it selected this green? Now you can click around and see if you can get the most as possible. I happen to know from experience that working on this bottom part is really kind of what I want. I'm going to move a little over there. You will notice that my floor is mostly gone, but my this upper part here is not. We're going to play with our sliders. But before we do that, we're going to change it from composite to alpha channel. This lets us really see what's going on and what is selected and not selected. We want this all to be black. Okay, all of this to be black. Okay, next we're going to go down to matte generation. Most of what we change is in matte generation. Slide this down. Now, if these, I'm going to tell you the settings that you use, but just like I say in the write-up here, okay, if these settings don't entirely work, play with the sliders and make it work better for your footage. So we're going to set transparency, first of all, to 37. I open it up by clicking on this guy. I slide this back and forth. Do you see? Look at that. See? Obviously. Okay. So I'm going to go until I get the most white, the person there. And you can actually see how this doesn't work for any of it, and I slide it on up. It gets to be a little too he's not white anymore. I pull this back. I don't know about there. You know what? That's pretty darn close to 37, quite honestly. I didn't need to do all that. Okay, I'm going to set highlights to 10. And again, you can slide back and forth if you want. I don't find it changes that much. Set shadow to 52. This is really interesting though. See this? Look at that. So on this particular footage, if I take the shadow and I pull it way down, then that actually turns mostly black. And I like that one a lot. So on my footage, I'm not going to be at 52. I'm going way down to 0. All right, tolerance. This one makes lots of changes too. So you can see as I go back and forth. But I'm pretty close. I'm going to, tolerance is supposed to be normally around 20, but I'm going to go a little higher till there. I'm at 55 for my settings. And then pedestal set to 100. Boom. Oh boy, look at that. That just totally turned all black. That was awesome. Awesome. Okay, so under matte cleanup, we'll open up matte cleanup, and we're going to make sure that midpoint is set to 50. Good. If you have any spill, you might want to play with this. This is really great. And spill being, like extra green sort of wrapped around the person, all that kind of stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Option key. I'm going to click on this up arrow here next to Ultra key. Whoop, no, I'm not. I'm going to click on matte generation. There, it closes all these guys. Okay, and the reason why is because I want to switch alpha channel back to composite. Do that. All right, look at that. All the green is gone. Fabulous. Now, let me show you. I'm going to throw in, let's put the Brooklyn Bridge in here underneath. Okay, and you can see here, he gets up. Oh, that's not working too well. You see that right there? I'm going to need to go back, and I'm going to need to play around with some of my settings and see, because that's not that's going through them. You can see here that it is not working. So we're going to need to go on back. And so, yeah, you basically play with the settings. I'm going to guess shadow. Actually, I'm going to go back to matte generation. I'm going to grab this shadow, which was supposed to be at 52. And, oh, see that? If I go too far, you see what happens, but I pull it on back right to here. Excellent. And I'm going to also play around maybe with my tolerance. and bring that in there. Awesome. Okay, cool. That is looking a little bit better. We've got some spill, which is coming off of him right there. So I'm going to need to play with my settings even more. Anyway, while I play with the settings and while you play with the settings for your thing, you can see that basically what we've done is we've made this entirely transparent. And that's great. Now, what you will want to do is you got to set them into place. Okay, so you want to go to motion, and you can click and pull this. You can move him back and forth into the spot. You can make him a little smaller in order to maybe put him up on top of the building right there. And I'll move him slightly over. Awesome. So there it is. So you can just play around with this and totally set it up so you put him in the spot that you want. If you double click on him or on your footage, you can also move it this way, but sometimes it doesn't select. And I find it actually easier just to play with these settings. All right, and now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to play around and see if I can get rid of some of that spill. Thanks very much. Bye.